Hello again, platform designers. We're going to be recording a few changes, so keep your eyes peeled. We have to fix a few problems with the last, because if you remember, well, let's look at this real quick. He jumps, but he could have jumped infinitely, right? Because you could press jump, 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 and he would jump higher, higher, higher. So I fixed that first thing. I'll show you how I did that. I changed the jump controls to add an if inside it. So now he can, if the space key is pressed, and if he is touching the platform, then he can jump. So he can only jump if he's touching the platform and the space key is pressed. So he can't jump again when he's in midair. So now we've fixed the problem. So now he can only jump when he's on the platform. If he's not jumping high enough for you when you make your game, of course you can change the height. Second, we see this problem where he's not going all the way down to the edge. And he also has this weird thing when we drop him. See how he slows down when he gets to the edge? He has this weird erratic rate in the fall. See, he slows down right at the edge. So we have to fix that and also get him on the bottom here. I also fixed him on his move, so you can copy that in a minute if you can't figure out how to change his costume. But that was pretty easy. So first of all, these gravity controls we have to change. So taking this out, I'll explain what I did. Get rid of this. So now, let's get this bigger. You can see with the gravity controls that we had to add something, and this is just a quick way to make it slow down as it gets it, because it was speeding past the platform, so it was changing the pace more radically. So we had to slow it down by adding this incremental step. We call it the reverse step. So basically, if it's less than the fall speed is less than 0, then it reverses it to 1, and you'll see what happens in just a minute. Otherwise, -1, and if it's not touching the platform, then it just keeps falling. So let's see what happens when we do this. Oops, that got mixed in there. It's the only annoying thing about Scratch. Not enough workspace. So put that there. Let's make it full size and see what happens. Oops, let's stop it first and play. Oop, see that? See how now he jumps up. He goes all the way to the bottom. He goes actually below the edge, and then he bounces back up. Now, this is what's actually happening with the reverse step, that he's actually goes below, and then it just slows down the process as he comes back up, and he actually gets to sit on the edge of the platform. There's a quick way we can fix this in Scratch. You have to right-click on the controls. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to right-click, and we can edit this block. It's a nice thing about making your own blocks. We can go into the options, and now we can run it without a screen refresh. So basically, it's going to do it faster, so we won't see that actually happening. So now when we enable that, let's watch what happens. See, it looks like he just lands on the edge, and it doesn't actually show the process of how he goes below the edge and comes back up. So now it works much better. Okay, so that's the gravity control. You can copy that. That'll be important when you make platform games, probably. There's one more thing I want to define that I actually put in the forever blocks over here, a fallen off thing, for when you fall off your platform. If you do make a game that has a platform where you can fall off and die, if it's not like a Mario type game where there's always just something you can fall on so you don't have to fall off, then it's pretty easy. Just going to basically do if it's below. This basically sets it if it's 20 pixels below the edge, above the edge of the screen, that it ends the game. Well, it broadcasts the game over message. So that's just one way to do it. Now your next step is going to be to build the levels of the game, and you can build this a lot of ways. Let's go into drawing it. You could have a game that has a typical platformer, that maybe jumping on levels like this, something like that. Or you could have a platformer that has to jump up levels, like, oops, that's not a very good line, like that. So boing, 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 like that. You could, I'm sure you can think of other ideas too, but maybe it's more longer, because I like the idea of longer levels like Mario. Maybe it's gonna be, oops, got off my thing. Let's clear that. Maybe it has longer levels. Why is it doing that? Longer levels that you have to go down, sort of like or climb up, like a Donkey Kong type of game, or coming down that way. Could also be an option. And this is basically each screen is going to be one level, and you can have multiple levels where it goes on to the next screen, but you just have to decide how you want to design it. You'll need to start designing things that you probably need to collect, maybe objects that you need to avoid. Maybe there's spikes or poisons. Maybe there's maybe you're collecting food. Maybe there's, you probably don't want to do moving enemies at this point, but we can add that later. But think about what the challenge is going to be for the game. Think about what you need to collect to get points and what's the incentive for the game, and start designing the levels. I'd probably design at least 3 different levels, maybe, that get increasingly difficult. So I think we described all the scripts we needed. Let's go back to the cat. Just make sure you got everything. The gravity controls. We slightly changed the run controls just to update the costume. Added the fallen off, and do change the jump controls. So I think we have everything fixed now. And we should be able to go from this point. So good luck, and let me know how it goes. Well, I think we'll have to have one more lesson on this, just to talk about what the next step is for the game.